and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking the top 10 accidents that gave people superpowers. This whole top 10 is like a real life superhero movie, it's so exciting. Before we get into this list, I just want to ask you guys who your favourite superhero is, and also, if you guys want to leave this video with a thumbs up, do it because it makes us feel good. Okay, here are 10 people that emerged somewhat better off after dicing with death. Coming in at number 10, we have the surgeon who became a piano genius after being struck by lightning. In 1994, Tony Cicoria was struck by lightning at a lakeside family pavilion. He said he then had an out-of-body experience, feeling as if he was being drawn up before being slammed back into his body. Over the next few months, he had a burning desire to listen to piano music, something that he'd not previously had an interest in. He then began feeling like he was having musical hallucinations, and he was totally overcome by his draw to create a piano piece. Eventually he took lessons and created his now seminal work, Lightning Sonata. Now this is a piece of music inspired by his ordeal that's garnered fans across the globe. It seems like the music always lived within him, only the lightning fired it up. Coming in at number 9, we have a guy who took it a step further, who now plays 8 instruments after nearly drowning. Amato went to a party in 2006 when he drunkenly jumped in a pool and hit his head. Then in his mid-30s, Derek was rushed to hospital and he collapsed following the incident. Suffering a serious concussion, he lost 35% of his hearing as a result of the accident. Interestingly, prior to the accident, Derek describes himself as being a bit hard on his luck. He slept in his car for 3 months. After the accident though, Derek was suddenly filled with a passion for music and began to read and understand it. He even learned 8 different instruments. 8! He said the music was drawing him in. Derek now has a career in music and has produced 2 albums. Coming in at number 8, we have Unbreakable John. So rather than an accident giving someone superpowers, this guy's powers, so to speak, were discovered as a result of an accident a la Bruce Willis style. Echoing the movie Unbreakable, in 1994, a man who has simply been called John by doctors was involved in a serious car accident. Following an x-ray, it seemed that John had no internal bleeding or broken bones. He didn't have so much as a fracture. It turns out he actually has a mutation of the LRP5, which is kind of like the opposite of osteoporosis. A link to John was made by baffled medics who struggled to fit another patient with thick bones with a hip replacement. Doctors compared notes and they saw that he and John were related, so basically this is a breed of super-boned humans. Coming in at number 7, we have the real-life Magneto. A 12-year-old boy from Russia was nearly killed by a huge electric shock, but woke to find he'd gained superpowers. Okay, warning, I'm trying to pronounce a long Russian name, so stick with me. Nikolai Kryaglachenko was walking home from school when he leant against a faulty lamppost that knocked him off his feet. Something was going on with some dodgy wiring. He said he eventually came round and made his way home to tell his mother what happened. What happened next was totally unexpected. Nikolai realised that he'd become a human magnet. So it started off when he woke to find coins stuck to him, and he soon realised he could also attract spoons and other larger metallic objects. So I don't know about superpowers, but you need to see these lightning scars at number 6. This looks like something from a comic book. It's absolutely insane. Getting struck by lightning can give you some super serious but really cool looking scars. These are more than just Harry Potter lightning scars. So these are called Lichtenberg figures, and oh my god. These are fractal patterns generated by the branching electric that struck the body, leaving streams of scar tissue. I actually have a huge scar that sometimes bothers me, sometimes doesn't, but honestly, these are fascinating. If anyone's gonna develop superpowers, surely it'll be these lightning scarred survivors. Up next, we have a child who developed a superhuman memory after being hit with a baseball. This is all coming into number 5. In 1979, 10-year-old Orlando Serrell was smashed on the left side of his head by a baseball. Although he fell over and was hurt, he didn't seek any medical attention and he got back to playing the game. He didn't tell his parents, but afterwards he suffered an intense headache. After their headache had passed, however, he discovered he had the ability to remember things with scary accuracy. He could even perform calendar calculations on demand. So Orlando can remember exactly what he was doing, what day of the week it was, and what the weather was like on any given day following his accident. Coming in at number 4, we have the man whose seizures turned into sensational works of art. Franco Magnai traveled to the United States from his home in Italy, filled with a desire to live in California and see the Golden Gate Bridge. On arriving to the States, Franco was struck with a serious illness that resulted in the then 32-year-old having a violent seizure. It was following this illness that Franco started having vivid dreams about his childhood home in Pontito. He felt a calling to paint the images in his dreams, and despite having no training as an artist, he picked up a paintbrush and discovered that he could create astonishing works from memory. Despite not setting foot in Italy for decades, he was able to create amazing works of art. So I'm not quite sure how to say this, but an accident on the toilet led this man to become an incredible artist at number 3. Tommy McHugh had a checkered past involving drugs, crime, and even jail time. The British man was 51 when he strained too hard on the toilet. Now this led to him bursting an artery in his frontal and temporal lobe. As a result, he had a stroke. Whilst this sounds awful, following the accident and subsequent medical struggle, he actually benefited from a continued stroke of artistic genius. The Liverpudlian started writing poems and created incredible artworks. He would spend up to 19 hours a day painting, when before he joked he only went to an art gallery to steal something. Before his death in 2012, he worked closely with Harvard Medical School and University College London. They both took interest in his personality change following his stroke. Coming in at number 2, a near-death beating turned this man into a maths genius. Jason Padgett was out with friends at a karaoke bar in 2002 when the furniture salesman from Washington was jumped by 2 thugs. The men beat him within an inch of his life, leaving him with concussion and post-traumatic stress disorder, although that wasn't the only thing he was left with. It seems the whole ordeal had somehow jolted his brain into a new understanding of mathematics and geometry. It seems the attack brought on savant syndrome, where a normal person develops prodigy-like genius following injury or disease. Jason also seemed to develop synesthesia. Finally, at number 1, this guy didn't sleep for 40 years after he was shot in the head. Sadly, Paul Kern is dead now, but he escaped death in 1915 when he was shot in the head during World War I. In the Hungarian army, Paul took a Russian bullet to the head that pierced his cranium. The survivor had the bullet removed from his frontal lobe, but once he regained consciousness, he didn't sleep again until his death in 1955, so that's over 40 years of no sleep. The veteran became the subject of intense studies, and medics were baffled by his lack of sleep and apparent lack of desire to even do so. Paul was encouraged to lay down for 2 hours every day, but during that time he was totally responsive. So guys, that was the top 10 accidents that gave people superpowers, and I am honestly astounded by this list. There are some really incredible people out there. Do you guys watching have any special powers that I should know about? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget to tell me who your favourite superhero is. For now, I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. If you want to check out links to our merch and all other stuff, then check out the description box down below. For now though, make sure you like this video, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more top 10 lists. Bye!